What do we want to talk about?
To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Welcome to the Bailey Show podcast, a guy show women love to listen to.
Intellectually immature nonsense.
That's BS.
That's BS.
That's BS.
That's BS.
Okay, then, let's do it.
All right, there it is, episode 256 of the BS. Thanks for being here. My name's Jason Bailey. Right there, it's the B-Man. Brandon.
What up?
What up?
What up? Did I see you reaching out saying you can't find a generator anywhere?
Yeah.
Damn, dude. I wish we had someone that sponsored us that knew where to get a generator.
Oh, I reached out. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about alternate power solutions.
Yeah.
So Douglas and what they do, they do all the generators, but they're not in Florida. It's a Georgia-based company, and they are with Generac. And he did say, that he can reach out to a Generac dealer in Florida and help me out. But by the time that text got back to me, I ended up finding a generator, which I'll get to here in just a second. Let me first explain my voice. So my wife and I just got back from Reno. We had a conference that we had to go to, which I'll explain that later on this week, if I can even speak, and why we were there. But it's something about the West Coast. My allergies in the West Coast and the cigarette smoke in the casino obviously didn't help things out. It just was one perfect storm. Now, I've had for the last couple weeks, actually since I've been back in Florida, every morning I would have an allergy attack. And my allergies have gotten better as I've gotten older. And I haven't been hit like this in a very long time. So every morning I'd be hit, the allergies. And so I was searching for this ear, nose, and throat doctor that I went to before I moved out of Florida. So this is 12 years ago. I guess they're not in business because I tried to call them and they don't exist. And I had a contact there, this nice lady, Kathy, and nothing. So anyway, so I got to find a new ear, nose. So I went through my insurance company, and the closest one was in THEBS, which is over an hour away from me. I'm going, this is ridiculous. Yeah. So, I've been so busy, I haven't been able to lock down. I need to get a doctor. I need to get an allergist and all this other stuff. So when I first moved out to California, I got sinusitis as soon as I got out there. My allergies, it was horrible. So now I've learned even more about sinusitis and how to get down the inflammation without even using prednisone, which is pretty cool. So it was a mess. And so when we got out to Reno, my allergies were bothering me, but I still could speak. We go to the first day of the conference. Afterwards, I woke up in the middle of the night. My throat was on fire. You get up the next day, I feel horrible. What?
What do you think it is? You think it's just a different kind of tree or plant over there that you're just not acclimated to?
There's no humidity,
Okay.
It's
Just
extremely, it's extremely dry out west. Whether that's it or not, it could be I have no idea. I just know that the last day of the conference, I woke up and I felt like shit, felt horrible. And we were meeting, and this is what really sucks, is because our good friends out in Sacramento drove out to Reno to have dinner with us. It's about an hour and a half-ish drive. And they're fantastic people. They were our neighbors, Ron and Natalie. And I couldn't speak at all. The entire dinner, I couldn't say a word, and I felt so bad about it. And then here's the strangest thing about this dinner. I don't know if I was just dehydrated or what. I might just be falling apart. I have no idea. Brandon, imagine sitting at a dinner table. You already feel like crap. You can't speak. I've lost my voice. And I take my right arm to go cut my food. Okay. So I bend my wrist, take my knife, bend my wrist, and something happened in my forearm where I don't know if it was a cramp or what. I thought I was having a heart attack. It started vibrating. The tendon started vibrating, and this pain shoots up my arm. And I didn't want to make a big deal out of it. Rach sees me and she goes, what's wrong? I said, nothing. I'm just going to go to the restroom. I'm in the bathroom stretching, I'm leaning up against the tiles and I'm flat-handed and I'm just stretching. I'm going, what in the Sam hell is going on? I had no idea. I still to this day have no idea what it was.
I got the same thing. It's it sounds like the same thing. It's called intersection syndrome. So like right here where your tendons cross, like one goes to your fingers and one goes to your thumb, and for some reason they're crossed, and like that little tunnel right there, if it gets inflamed, they start rubbing and it'll shoot pain up your arm. Sometimes you can hear it squeak. Mine will squeak sometimes, like I need some WD-40.
What is it called? What?
Intersection syndrome, ISS.
Intersection syndrome. That's
Yeah. When I first got it, I was working on like commercial site, like digging gravel out, and it just hurt so bad. Like I could not even move it anymore. Went
right.
to the doctor.
Yeah.
And he was like, dude, this is the worst case I've seen ever. Like you can physically hear it squeak on the outside. I'm like, yeah, it hurts pretty bad, doc.
You ever wonder how many doctors tell their patients that that's the worst or the best they've ever seen, and if they really mean it?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they just make you feel better. Like, oh wow, I got something rare going on over here. Like something special about me.
I think it's like it's a trick that doctors do to make you feel special, to know that they know what's going on and they know how to handle it, because you might be the first, but you're not the last. And I've seen it before, but you're the biggest. It's not you're the first, it's you're the worst, right? So he's seen it before and he knows how to handle it. You know what I mean? There's a difference.
Yeah, they probably do that also to make sure you come back. Like, don't just blow it off. Be like, oh, it's rough. Like, you need to keep checking this out. But they told me the only thing you could do is just rest. They didn't even give me like a shot or anything or any steroid. They said just to wrap it and don't use it. That's the only way to fix it. But every now and then it'll flare up when I'm working on the job somewhere, and I just gotta, just kind of limp it around so it doesn't hurt too bad.
We're gonna have a guest join us here in just a minute. His name's Alex Clark. He's executive director with a company, or an organization, I should say, because they all are volunteers. It's called Operation AIRDROP. And you guys are going to have to bear with me throughout this episode.
I looked up the complete different dude. I thought we were talking to a YouTuber that had 4 million subscribers. So I looked up the wrong guy.
What did you not understand when I sent you the information?
Well, you said Alex Clark. So I looked up Alex Clark, and the first one that pops up is this YouTuber with 4 million. He does like these little short videos that he animates them. I'm like, oh, cool, sweet. I'm gonna have a lot of questions to ask him. So but
not a guy that saves lives. You have nothing to ask him.
I didn't know. Now I got to look him up.
So Alex is very interesting because of the work that Operation AIRDROP is doing, and how the organization functions with all volunteers and their different backgrounds. I don't know a lot about them other than what I've read and what I've been told, but I was trying to find someone that is boots on the ground with this past hurricane, Helene. And that's exactly what Operation AIRDROP is doing, mainly in North Carolina. But as we kind of started out this episode, me being in Deltona, Florida, which is Central Florida, just north of Orlando, Hurricane Milton, oddly enough, named after my dickhead dog, is going to hit us, just smack in the face. And I've been through a ton of hurricanes before, the worst being in 2004 with Charlie, Ivan, Francis, and Gene, even that, people kind of forget the fourth one. And that was bad. That was really, really bad, especially the way Charlie came up. And the lesson that we learned from Charlie was, you know what? We got to bury the power lines and we got to clean up the trees, because that's why Orlando, Central Florida area got bombarded. It wasn't necessarily flooding on that one. It was just all these loose tree branches that were like shrapnel that were going everywhere. Now with Milton, this is a very odd situation because it's coming directly from the west, which is very, very rare that a hurricane runs parallel like that. And it's because we're in a weird spot in the Gulf with the warm water and the way that it's flowing. That's why.
Yeah, I saw the prediction of it, and like I said, I'd never, I don't look into hurricanes a lot, but I was like, it kind of looks weird. I don't think I've never seen one do that, because normally, it goes across Florida, then it cuts up through Georgia, or goes on the East Coast, and we get some rain, or we get hit, or sometimes it'll go towards Louisiana, but I've never seen it just cut straight across the state.
This one's bad. I just saw an update before we're recording here from my friend Julie Broughton, who's a meteorologist at Local 6 here in Orlando. She's phenomenal. And this is going to be a Category 4 while it's out in the water. That's a big hurricane. And then it's going to hit land as of, we record this on Sunday, so bear with us as we release it on Tuesday. But then it's going to hit as a Category 2 in Tampa, which just got destroyed. Just got beat up. One of my close friends lives out in Davis Island. His friend's house just destroyed. His house badly beaten up. They're getting ready to get hit once again, even worse. I feel so bad for Tampa Bay right now. I'm only about 90 plus miles inland from Tampa Bay. So there is a very, very good chance that this storm is going to hit me at a category 1, which is still really, really deadly. Really deadly. So
Yeah.
what's that?
Yeah, I was thinking like if it happens to take a path and like it just kind of cuts up and goes back towards North Carolina, how much do you think it's going to be like a lot more damage, or since like it's already pretty damaged and like the water's already carved out its own rivers, do you think it wouldn't be as bad as the one we just had up there? Like it's already kind of got it prepared for another one.
All hurricanes are different. And you really can't gauge on how deadly it's going to be until about 24 hours before it hits land, because there's a lot of variables that you have to take into consideration. Me personally, what I've always looked at is the speed of the hurricane. Slower the worse, faster the better. You want it in, you want it out, you want to get hit hard. Remember, it's not the eye of the storm that gets you. If you ever been in a hurricane, stand in the middle of the eye of the storm, it's beautiful. I mean, you look up in the sky and
Crazy.
everything's around you and you can see rain, everything. It's really a trippy experience. It's that top right side of the hurricane and the feeder bands that exist around the storm. When you get the tornadoes, you get the flooding, you get all these different things. It really boils down to the question is how prepared are you? You cannot control the weather. You cannot control trees. You can't control, you have no idea how strong these trees are. The only thing you can control is your preparation. That's all you can control, and Alex will tell you the same thing. So let's welcome to the program again, Executive Director, Operation AIRDROP, operation-airdrop.com. His name is Alex Clark. Alex, how are you, my friend?
Howdy, I'm doing fine. Recovering from all these emails and just trying to keep up with every single thing that's going on all over North Carolina right now. It's still crazy up there, man.
Yeah, and I appreciate your time because I know you're crazy slammed. And I just reached out to you actually when I was in Reno. I was just telling everybody I just got back from Reno and I was looking for a guest to come on. And I had some people that had reached out to me and told me about your organization. I'd never heard of Operation AIRDROP before. Then I did some research. You guys are doing some amazing work up there in North Carolina right now, which seems to be the state that got hit. I hate to say the worst because I've seen Tampa, I've seen Georgia. We've got a big audience. Obviously, our biggest audience is in Georgia, up there by Augusta and Evans and those places. I drove through South Georgia on my way to Alabama right after the storm. That was a wreck. So North Carolina, and I've got friends up in North Carolina that are sending me pictures. It's still to this day really bad. Am I right?
Absolutely. We are used to handling hurricanes and damaged areas that are relatively small. Like we started at Hurricane Harvey, and that was like the greater Houston area, which is a huge area. But this hurricane, if you there was an image that went viral about a week ago, right after Hurricane Helene hit, comparing the size of Hurricane Katrina versus the size of Hurricane Helene, and it was crazy. I think it's Hurricane Katrina was like 400 miles wide. Helene, which was a relatively equal strength storm, was 820 feet or miles wide.
Wow.
Absolutely just incredible. And just a swath of damage across those states. We're honestly not big enough to handle all that damage area. And even like we're sending helicopters and airplanes, our range is still incredible compared to ground organizations, everything else. And we can't reach the entire swath of damage. That's just, we hadn't even thought of that when we formed in 2017 for following Hurricane Harvey. So we're just blown away and just trying to do as much good as we can with the resources we got to affect good, the most amount of people we can. And that's all we can do.
So explain your organization, because the individuals like yourself that not only found it, but run it. I believe I read you came in right after the founders put it together. This is all volunteer on y'all's part. Explain y'all's background and what exactly it is you do and how it works.
Yeah. So following Hurricane Harvey in 2017, it was kind of just a bunch of people saying, hey, I want to go down there and help. The government organizations are doing the best they can, but Houston is huge, millions of people, and they couldn't reach all the communities. Like there was flooding in around Orange County, for example, which is a small community outside of Houston. And we saw there were people needing help. And so people just started throwing diapers and food and water in the back of an airplane and said, hey, there's an airport there. I'm going there. let's see what we can do. A bunch of people launched that morning, and we were all trying to make sure they were safe, trying to find where to go, trying to find supplies for them. So we all just met in somebody's living room and got on our computers and started figuring this stuff out. And by the end of that day, we were in an office building with 15 different people organizing stuff. So we all, at that point, founded Operation AIRDROP, trying to figure out how to make this better and make this more efficient. And that's what we do. We find people needing help in isolated communities after a large storm, such as Orange County or up in Western North Carolina, where in the mountains there's no way to get to them because there's one way in, one way out, and it's been washed away. And we just bring those supplies to them as close as we can and as reliably as we can to sustain life until the roads are back together and ground organizations come in there and sustain that life for from then on, right? So we're the week one type of organization that gets there first and make sure people live for until those other organizations can get in and help them out.
I saw a video that I guess has gone viral. It had a lot of views on it, so I guess it went viral, of this guy in North Carolina with his family that lived up in the hills. And I've spent some time in North Carolina, so I'm familiar with a lot of those areas, especially up in Asheville, Grandfather Mountain, all that stuff, and Boone and whatnot. And it's remote. I mean, it is remote. People want to live that way. And this guy and his family were gifting a brand new generator. For some reason they had it to this Spanish guy, and he's a white guy, Spanish guy. The reason why I bring that up is because of the visual. Perception is reality, right? You look at it and you're like, okay, that's it's one person giving to another. But I thought the video spoke volumes if you look around, because the family didn't have much. You could tell they did not have much. And the other thing I thought was interesting is he was carrying his sidearm publicly, on his side, because it's everyone for themselves unless you want to help each other. And there's going to be that bad element that gets desperate, and you have to protect yourself. Unfortunately, that's it. And it's looting. I mean, you see people looting without any survival in play. They're just doing it because they think they can, because they have a horrible run government in their state. So you see this and you're like, people have no money. They've got nothing. They've lost everything. They got to find something for their kids. Do you see that, Alex Clark, when you go out there? Do you see that element? Just it's survival. You got to take what you got to take.
So I've got to talk to you about this because the generosity that we see is just incredible. Let's step back for a second and talk about the donors and the pilots first. We don't pay anybody anything. We on Operation AIRDROP not paid anything. Everybody is volunteer, and we would not exist in any capacity without these generous volunteers. Pilots, we can't even reimburse fuel because it's an FAA rule that we're not allowed to do that. So 100% money, thousands of dollars out of these people's pockets just to volunteer and help out. Now, the second part of your question was about what we see on the ground in desperate areas. What I have actually been blown away. I thought the same kind of thing. What we actually see is that these communities get together around a community center like a church or YMCA or other organization, and they all get together and help each other out. Whenever we arrive, we don't see lawlessness. We don't see problems like that. We see people desperate for help and waiting in line very patiently for us to get the limited amount of supplies that we can into their hands, and they're sharing bottles of water and food. We see the best side of America. This whole operation is just incredible from the start to the end of it. And that's what we see. There are some stories about, FEMA and stuff, confiscating stuff and not handing it out. And that's largely just not true. We don't see that anywhere. We have been so fortunate that the best side of America comes out to be able to get everybody as much help as we can. Otherwise, it would just be largely impossible.
Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, like in the donations that come in, because people are always looking to donate, but they're always worried that they don't know where their money is going to go. I've never run across that problem of running into an organization that I've either supported or donated to personally. So I don't know what that feels like. People question mark the American Red Cross. I think it's a phenomenal organization. Me personally, I do. I've never worked with them for years, never had an issue. But with Operation AirDrop, they can go to operation-airdrop.com and donate, correct, if they want to?
Correct. There's a donate button on the site. And it goes right to mission supplies or whatever. I just ordered $25,000 worth of solar panels and generators to get out, but helicopter these communities and make them last a little bit longer, because solar power actually will work until those power lines get back up there. Generators run out of fuel, all those other problems. So we're just trying to get everything out there as best we can.
Yeah. Well, tell us some of the situations that you've seen specifically with Hurricane Helene in North Carolina, some of the worst case scenarios, because what people don't realize, if you've never been through a natural disaster, i.e. a hurricane, one day everything's great. The next day, everything is gone. I mean, literally everything is gone. You can file for insurance and you can do all these things and it's great. What your plans were, and I know every single person listening right now has a calendar or something that says, I've got to be somewhere tomorrow, or I've got to be somewhere on Friday or Saturday or Sunday. All that's vanished. It's gone. Your next year is about rebuilding. I've seen it. I've kind of been through it. So, I mean, I know what it's like, but I've never been through I've lost everything. And you've seen that numerous times. What are some of the worst case scenarios?
Yeah, and I'm fortunate. I've never been through that same situation either. I don't know what it feels like, but I can just imagine based on what we see there. The largest storm surge of Helene was 20 feet. However, the water lines up in the western North Carolina area down through those valleys was over 30 feet. So it's just incredible. More than 2-story buildings were coming down in water. So we see homes, entire houses, that are more than 100 feet off where their footings are. We see whole businesses and whole areas where city centers were completely demolished and just crushed. Trees are flattened on the side of these valleys. And there was even a house on top of a mountain that had been overcome with flooding, which never would have thought of that in a million years. It's not a floodplain. There's nothing about that should happen. But it's just incredible. We also just showed some photos on CNN a couple of days ago, and there was a family who the flooding took over their house, and they rushed upstairs. But these grandparents did the best they could. But unfortunately, their son passed away, and the rafters got carried away, and they're just sitting in front on lawn chairs, just waiting for somebody to come help them out. It's just devastating to see that stuff.
Yeah, there was a video I saw of a woman in her house as it drifted down what was once a road. And that was nuts. Absolutely nuts. Can you imagine being in your house and not being able to evacuate in time because the water is moving so fast, so rapidly? And I'm not talking about a mobile home, my friends. I'm talking about a legit house on a foundation that somehow lifted off the ground and was drifting down the road or the lake or whatever the case may be. I saw another one, and I'm not sure if someone was in it or not, but as it was drifting down the road, a power line split the house in two as it was coming down the road. You see that, Brandon? Shaking your
Yeah,
head?
I saw one. It was a shipping container also, and like those same kind of poles, those steel poles. And I just want to say, whoever put those poles in did a damn good job for sure, because they are not budging. I don't know how they're not getting knocked over, but yeah, I've seen those. That's pretty intense.
Yeah.
What would Alex Clark? What would with Operation AirDrop? What would your advice be to people that are preparing for a storm that maybe have never been through it? I mean, I just moved back to Florida after 12 years, and after our conversation, I'm going to talk more about my prepping 101 and what I had forgotten. And when I went out today, it was just like, oh yeah, this is what it's like. I totally forgot. But what would you tell people? I said at the beginning of this episode, you can control your preparation, and that's the only thing.
Yeah, exactly. First of all, people in the mountains of North Carolina, I would have never have thought you have to prepare for a hurricane and a flooding event. You're 2,000 feet in the air. You're not in a floodplain. I mean, why would I have to prepare for a hurricane? That's just mind blowing to me to see that. But for the most part, we recommend food and water, non-perishable food, obviously, and water because you're going to lose power, and then some kind of a solar charging device like a Jackery or one of those type of devices that you can use for a long term to power your phones and communications. And in fact, one of the biggest resources that we found, thanks to Elon Musk for donating 500 of them, but Starlinks are just incredible. And they take a little bit of power to use, so that solar generator will use it. And just having those on board and bringing those in helicopters to little communities, those were sometimes more useful and more, I guess, appreciated by those people in those communities than food and water. Because if you've been 8 days without seeing your family or being able to talk to them at all, and they think you're missing or dead or, all those awful situations, being able to call them and talk to them is just the biggest thing in the world. Having a Starlink means being able to call for help sometimes.
How do they work? I don't even know how they work.
So Starlink, we've got one. We use it for Operation AirDrop. We need 50 million more of them. But you just plug it in, and it finds the best satellites, and it figures itself out, and then it says internet good to go. That's what. That's all it does. It's awesome.
And you just go on your phone and like search for a network, and you'll see Starlink.
Yep. Ours is called Op AirDrop, and it's just a Wi-Fi network. You hook into it, and it's like 225 megabits a second. It's awesome.
I think it covers like 90% of the world, something like that. I think
something like that.
Yeah, it's insane.
And how do you buy one?
How you buy one? Just online. God, I forgot that website, but probably Starlink.com or something like that.
I think I saw they were selling them a while ago at either Sam's Club or Costco also.
Really?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I saw a couple of videos they were on sale or something because they came out with a mini one now also. I don't know what the difference is, but I think that's a more affordable option. I think it's under like $200.
Yeah. They're freaking awesome. The mini one too is great. The number one that we have, we bought it when it first came out. It pivots based on where the satellites are all the time, and you have to be able to transport it, put it back in its little case and everything. And it's a little more involved. With that mini, you just throw it in there wherever you want in the back of the seat. It's good to go.
Have you reached out to Elon Musk and asked him to donate?
So actually, you talked about this a second ago. The government in North Carolina was hugely helpful. Senator Ted Budd and a couple other state senators came out, and they just called him up on their phone and said, "Hey, Elon, this is a need we're seeing." And he said, "No problem. I got it handled." There were 500 there the same day. 500 of them.
Wow.
Set up, ready to go. Accounts already created and free for life. Already just showed up on our doorstep.
That's amazing. That's absolutely. See, that's how you get things done. Because if you're looking at the federal government and their response to natural disasters, going all the way back to, not Sandy, but Katrina. Oh my God. It was the biggest mess I'd ever seen. It was the most embarrassing thing. One of the most embarrassing things that our federal government ever did. I could not believe it. Now, I do understand, and what a lot of people, it's very hard for them to understand. We have another guy on the show, Chuck. He doesn't understand the aspect of you can't be there the day of the storm. You can't be there the day after the storm. It sometimes takes 3 days before you get a response because it's not safe for the people that are coming to help. So you are on your own. We as Americans think that we're protected all the time. We're not. Tell me if I'm off here at all, Alex. If I'm going on a little run here, and tell me if you disagree. But you have to wait enough time for people like Alex in Operation AirDrop for it's safe to go in there. So you have to find ways to survive. You have to put on your big boy pants and help your brothers, sisters, neighbors out. But in this situation with Hurricane Helene, we've seen a week pass and zero response from the federal government. At least I haven't seen anything. I think I saw, maybe some politicians walking around and assessing the situation. Like, what is that? That's great for an election year. It's a joke. If you're going to come in and assess the situation, at least bring a case of water. Like, walk around with a freaking case of water. Do something. Not just walk around. Drives me insane. But this guy calls up Elon Musk. The guy says, oh, okay, I'm not there. I didn't know. Yeah, sure. 500, not a problem. And it's there the same day. I don't know. Kind of want that guy doing something for me, you know?
Yeah. So I got to say that FEMA, Red Cross, Samaritan's Purse, Ground Force Humanitarian Aid, there are hundreds of organizations on the ground here in North Carolina, Georgia, even the Florida Panhandle area that are doing absolutely great work. FEMA is bringing in C-17s in and setting up supply depots in Asheville. It's tough for them to get to these isolated communities very quickly with no roads, nothing like that. It's a real slog to get these big organizations that far out there. So that's where we come in to help out. But in Asheville proper, seeing massive military airplanes come in just full of supplies, even FedEx, we called up FedEx and they brought in a 757 this morning full of supplies. So Asheville area is taken care of by these large organizations, and they're doing a great job there. They're doing absolutely awesome. It's just very difficult to get these tiny mountain communities with one way in, one way out. If you don't have a small helicopter, even a big helicopter like a military Black Hawk can't fit in these tiny little spaces in someone's front lawn. It just can't happen. So that's where we excel, because just small private airplanes and helicopters, they can do that.
What else do you do for a living? I mean, you just can't volunteer unless you're just wealthy. Born with it. What else do you do?
Well, none of us are wealthy. We don't do anything crazy like that. I'm a pilot. I'm an airline pilot with a company called Atlas Air Worldwide. And I just got home actually from a trip a couple of days ago. I was working overseas trying to get all this stuff organized. So none of us are wealthy or any different than anybody else. We just do the best we can with what we've got, and that's what everybody is doing. And everybody's efforts together is what's making this work.
Please tell me, Alex, that anytime I fly, I'll be safe. I'm terrified to fly.
Well, I got to say that it is extremely safe to fly airlines. It's safer than driving a car.
I know. That's what they say. Sometimes, like, I just got back from Reno and I'm like, oh, and it was like for some reason we're flying to Minneapolis first because Delta didn't have a direct flight. And I like flying Delta. I'm a big Delta fan. And, but some of these flights, I was looking up there and the pilot looked like he was maybe 30. And I'm like, ugh. I want that old guy, and I want a pilot that checks in with me if I get some bumps and tells me. But I will say that this guy gave me like a 45-minute heads up that there are bumps coming. I was like, I appreciate that, kind of, because for 45 minutes I was grabbing the chair, like just waiting for the bumps, just waiting.
Yeah, you feel something little like, was that it? Is that it? Are we done? Are we out of it? Are we out of it?
Yeah. I always keep an eye on the flight attendants. I'm like, if they're sitting down, here comes a bump. That's
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's when it's bumps. So right now, as of recording of this episode, Operation AirDrop is focusing on Hurricane Helene and the damage there. We have Hurricane Milton coming this week. This episode, it might even be hitting us by the time people are listening. How can Operation AirDrop, and will they be able to? Do you have the manpower to cover more than one location?
We have the ability. It's gonna suck. Let's be honest. It's gonna suck for people in Tampa and all that area around there, and we've got to suck it up and be able to move down there and help out if necessary. But man, it's gonna be rough. 2 major hurricanes hitting the same general area within 2 weeks. It's unprecedented, and it really stretches everybody very thin. So please take this seriously. And I just saw that evacuations on Sunday, when we're recording this, evacuations were ordered in the Tampa area. Yeah. Please listen, please get out of there, because we're stretched very, very thin already. And a whole nother area, the entire middle of Florida, man, that's going to be really hard to cover.
Yeah, I'd reached out to some of my friends in the Tampa area and offered, I said, hey, of course, you can stay here if need be. And so, most Floridians, as you well know, they don't, just because, here's an odd thing to say. If anything good can come out of Hurricane Helene, I think it's Floridians going, okay, this is bad. This is a bad hurricane season. You know, October's a little late. It's usually we get hit hard in September. It's kind of odd, but you looked at Hurricane Helene, they got hit that bad. The water's already high over there, raining days before Hurricane Milton hits land. I mean, so it's even getting worse. I think they'll take heed, and I think most people will listen, I think, and get out of Dodge. But, you know, I remember Hurricane Charlie, and I looking at I-4 and watching everybody from Tampa Bay coming over to Orlando for shelter. And then it was announced that Charlie had taken a turn to come up through Port Charlotte. And I watched in real time. I always tell a story. I watched in real time all the traffic going across the median on I-4 going back home. They were like, because it was they're hearing on the radio, you know, it's coming up through Port Charlotte. They hit Orlando. So, hey, dummies, go home because it's here coming to the place where it's going to hit. You know, they turn around. In Tampa Bay and Sarasota, I've lived in both. Both of those places have been lucky for decades, if not centuries, you know, not being hit by storms. And this year, you know, luck's up. You know, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. I got to say, though, that Florida absolutely knows what they're doing as far as hurricanes go. Evacuations, they take people seriously and they get out of the way. But even after the storm, the Florida EOC, or Emergency Operations Command, they are very good at knowing what to do and when. They're so experienced, right? They've had 50 million of these hurricanes that they know what they're doing. It's just when the ones that do something you're not expecting, like turn left and go all the way up to North Carolina, those are the ones that really do a big deal of damage. This one right here, while it's going to do some damage in Tampa and everything, I fully have confidence in the Florida EOC and the government operations there that they are ready and they're going to be able to handle this and keep people safe as much as possible.
Yeah, they in Kissimmee, my sister-in-law lives in Kissimmee, St. Cloud area. They have airboats on the side of the road waiting already. I mean, it gave me goosebumps, right? You know, just to know that, hey, look, no harm, no foul. We don't need it. That's great. But they have airboats on the side of the road waiting. They're in a flood zone, a bad flood zone. You know, we're in Deltona, so I think excuse me, I'm sick, but I think for flooding, I think we're okay. It's just the winds that I'm worried about. You know, now code, everything has to be hurricane strapped down, like your lanai and your sheds and stuff like that. So that's good. We'll move everything in, as far as the furniture outside and stuff like that. And then, you know, we're just prepared, just waiting to, you know, be without power. It's funny because my neighbor says, he's like, oh, we should be good. All of our power lines are underground. Yeah, that's helpful. No doubt. That's very, very helpful. But when the transformer goes out, it doesn't matter where the power lines are, you know? So, you know, and that's what usually happens. It's not just the power lines, you know, a tree hits a transformer, lightning hits a transformer or something like that. So, but I did see utility trucks coming around, camping out in parking lots. They're ready. I mean, it's like waiting for a war, you know, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know? So do you think that you can stop hurricanes with detonation of a bomb?
I've never heard that one, but
really,
you know, worth a shot, right?
Well, no, you've never heard the detonation of a bomb to stop a hurricane?
No, I haven't. Tell me about the story.
Well, it's I didn't make it up. And it's not, I mean, it's been around for a long time, the idea of doing it. They've tested it and they said that it doesn't work.
Okay.
But we were talking about this the other week. I was sitting at a poker table with this guy. Again, you know, we're poker players, so you believe so much. But this guy's pretty legit. Said he was in the Navy. Said that when they had to control the storms, they would detonate bombs and it'd go away. I was like, I don't know if I believe this. So I'm Googling under the poker table, you know, it says it doesn't work. So I come back up, get back in the conversation. I say, you know what, man, I think they did a study on that. And I think it said it didn't work. He goes, yeah, of course they're going to tell you that. He was like, I was there detonating the bomb, so I know it works. I was like, who might argue with this guy? You know, so.
Well, I mean, you know, they denied cloud seeding for a long time until Dubai started openly doing it. And then now they got a flooding problem. So, I mean, it's something it seems realistic or a good idea to me. Like, you blow it up and just blow everything away and it gets all discombobulated.
Well, if it works, why aren't they doing it over the Gulf, man?
Maybe because that's a good thing, you know, population management or whatever you want to call it, insurance. I mean, you pick your conspiracy.
The Thanos theory?
Yeah, the Thanos theory, you know, something like that. What they denied, who's they denied cloud seeding?
Oh, I think they just they just didn't ever talk about it, like the U.S. because they were accused of it in Vietnam to extend the monsoon season or something. Once they got some kind of high ground and it just kept raining past monsoon, and they were like, I think there was always stories like the government is like controlling the weather. They can make it rain. They can make it rain longer. And everyone's like, oh, that's a crazy conspiracy. And then Dubai started doing it and say, yeah, we're doing it. We need water. Now we got too much. They're like, well, if Dubai can do it now, how long have we been doing it?
Oh, see, look at that, Alex. Maybe you start detonating bombs, get into a new business.
Yep.
It's Operation Airdrop, Operation Bomb Drop.
Man, well, maybe we'll think about that at some point.
Yeah, right. All right. Well, look, if you need somebody in Central Florida, please let me know. I'll do anything I can to help. And I want to stay in contact with you because I think we're going to be having another conversation here in about a week.
Sure.
Because Florida's getting ready to get hit real bad. It's this one. I've got a really bad feeling about this. There's only been one other storm in Florida that I've had a bad feeling about, and that was Charlie. Even though it was supposed to come through Tampa, there was something about that storm that gave me the heebie-jeebies. And I remember where I was and everything about that storm the night it hit. And that's the worst. At least this one, it's hitting at, I think, 8 a.m. supposedly. So storms hitting the day a lot better than storms hitting at night when you can't see a damn thing. I just have a really, really bad feeling about this. And I want to make sure my community is taken care of. So let's stay in contact, please.
Absolutely. And I want to say that, we're watching this one very carefully. Our meteorology team has been telling me about this the past 2 or 3 days, that this could be something. We hope it's not. We hope it's going to be, nice and easy. However, one of our friends, Soul Relief, is an organization down in the Tampa area. They also do a great job flying in supplies for people. They were hit pretty hard with Helene. And we're just really worried about them right now, as well as everybody else, trying to get them out in the way because they're over in St. Pete on that island.
Oof.
And I think that's going to be flooded. That storm surge is going to be crazy over there, isn't it?
What, they're in Davis Island?
St. Pete, Clearwater, I believe.
Okay, so it's out in St. Pete, Clearwater. Yeah. It's still bad. I was just talking to my friend just before we start recording, and we have a mutual friend. He's closer to him. Everything's gone. I've seen the pictures, the video of that, like real time, just talking through. I have another friend in real time. He's like, there goes my dock, just out in the water. I mean, I just couldn't imagine, so they're still cleaning up from that. And there's debris. That's the other thing, is there is debris all over the Tampa Bay area on the side of the road, just everywhere. The idea when a storm comes is to clean up things so it doesn't become flying deadly objects. There's so much stuff in Tampa Bay right now on the side of the roads. That's not a good thing at all. So it's just, this is going to be ugly. I really hope that I'm wrong, and I'm not trying to scare anybody, but, and those that are like in Georgia that aren't going to get hit with this, the thing is I've posted a couple things on my social media, and I've had some people actually shocked me that I haven't spoken to in a long time, that have reached out because they care. I mean, they see what's happening in North Carolina and Hurricane Helene, and they see what's coming to hit us, and they're like, get ready. So I can help you guys out in any way possible. If I can help you guys out, just reach out, please. Let me know whatever I can do. All right.
Same here. You got my email. You got my phone number. Let me know. We'll be watching. We'll be nearby. Obviously, we'll be in North Carolina, and hopefully we're not needed to come down, but we'll be ready if we need to.
I think you need to send me your phone number. I don't know if I have your phone number.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
I got one quick question before we let you go. So I saw I-40, I believe, is the road that they said it's going to take like 5 to 8 years to rebuild.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah, wow. That's when I heard that's crazy. But what I'm thinking is, is there any way they can rebuild like these roads and infrastructure a little different to be okay next time, or a little better when a hurricane comes in? Or are they just kind of screwed with all the valleys? Like there's just no way you can build it differently.
Man, on this one, what happened was all the land under it kind of slid under it and went away. So all those footings just got uncovered and broke from there. I have no idea how to build roads, but man, I wouldn't expect 2,000 feet in the air to have all these kind of flooding events that are wiping away all this land. So, man, I don't know, but I'm sure they're going to think about it. And over the next 5 years, I'm sure they can rebuild something better.
Hopefully. Yeah, that's a good question, Brandon. you would think that we would learn a lot after every storm. And I know we do. I mean, there are things that, for years, I remember back in the 90s, they always were dragging their feet about burying power lines for whatever the case may be. After Charlie, it was Operation Powerline Underground. This is, people do that, right? Even governments, local, national, that's what they do. They wait for the worst and then they try to fix it when you could fix it beforehand. But there are so many things. Brandon's right. Stuff with the streets, the grading, the drainage, all these different things that might be able to be done differently. So there isn't flooding in high flood zones, which also would bring your insurance down.
Yeah, for sure.
The way they put on roofs. I mean, they've totally changed after Charlie. The codes in Florida are totally different. Absolutely, totally different. How houses are built. You have to have, they are sticklers. I know in Volusia County, where I'm at, for anything of structure that you put in your yard, they have people that drive around and look, for permitting. And, it's a money grab, but it's also a safety thing too. You don't want somebody putting up a shed without, the hurricane straps. Next thing you know, that shed's in your living room, just killed your dog. That sucks. You don't want that kind of stuff. So, that's a good question. Let me ask you that. What do you do with pets when to help out? Do you cater to the pets at all?
So our helicopters, they've been flying sorties every day, 18 hours a day. And we've been picking pets up. We've been picking old people up. We've been picking, we picked up Mama and her 4-year-month-old little baby a little bit ago. So we've been picking them up. I couldn't leave my dog behind. So I know that these people probably couldn't either.
Where y'all taking these people? Y'all have like a designated camp set up that y'all are just bringing all these people to? Because I'm sure like a lot of their homes are gone, and even if their homes are still there, it's like y'all don't have time to be like, all right, man, where do you live? So we can get you over there. And like, oh, your house is destroyed. Now we got to take you back. So y'all have like a designated area to put all these people?
So what they did, set up in Hickory there in North Carolina, they'd fly them into Hickory Airport, go into a triage center. Our team of doctors, military PJs, everybody would look them over, make sure they're good to go, and they're released. And that's where the government would help out. They would set up shelters to get these people taken care of as best they could. So that's our plan right now, and that's what we'll keep doing from as long as we can.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, Alex Clark, Operation AIRDROP, operation-airdrop.com. If you're looking for an organization to help, you can do that. We are going to be doing some stuff here on this podcast as well that I'll announce here in the next few days, and hopefully we'll be able to help you in your organization out as well. I have a very good feeling that you're going to be knocking on my door here in the next couple of days. If so, that's fine. You and me, we're going to go save the world. I'm with you 100%. All right.
Okay. Get better first.
All right. Alex Clark, thank you very much, sir, for joining us. I appreciate it. I really do.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right.
Yeah,
You
man.
too.
See you, dude.
Yeah. Look at that.
I wanted to tell him how I loved how his AC vent was centered right above his head. Did you see that? I think he set his camera up like that on purpose.
Why do you always say that after our guest leaves?
I don't know. It just seemed kind of dumb. It seemed like more of a serious conversation we were having. I tried to keep it serious. No, man, that air vent above your head's right there in the middle. You know that?
That's
funny. I already had one done comment about the power poles. Like, man, whoever put them power poles up, they need to keep their job.
Yeah. That's like such good advice that he gave. Like the be right there in the middle in the thick of things is phenomenal, like absolutely phenomenal. And we're about to hit it, so let me tell you, I was bringing this up when Alex was on, is that the preparation aspect of it is like crazy. Like I forgot all about it. So when I was a kid and we moved to Florida, I was 11 years old, never experienced a hurricane at all. And I remember the first one. And my mom's clueless, my stepfather at the time was clueless, and I'm hearing all these things. So I'm out there getting duct tape and I'm putting them on the windows, which is now I think it's it's not the thing anymore, right?
What's the idea to keep all the glass together, I guess? So it doesn't
when the
go
glass,
all over the place.
when the glass shatters, it keeps the glass together, but I guess it doesn't work. But this, again, remember, this is like 30 some years ago. I'm a kid. I'm just doing it. Batteries. For some reason, I had more batteries than, the Energizer Bunny's closet, probably. That's all they would do. And they would get you. They would get you. You go to Home Depot and everything is laid out for you, and you just grab it. So over the years, you learn. And then over the years, you also become a lot skeptical because the storms don't hit. So then you just start accumulating duct tape, batteries, water, and you have all this stuff and all this stuff, and then the day that you need it, you're like, oh, okay. So
probably how the store batteries and bulbs got started. Just had a bunch of batteries and bulbs saved up. They're like, I don't know what we're going to do with this. Let's just start a store, I guess. Sell it all.
So what I'm going to tell you right now is my experience prepping for Hurricane Milton after 12 years of not having to prep for a hurricane and forgetting a few things and procrastinating on a few things, because I've been back in Florida for a couple months and I should have done this prior. But I owned a generator years ago, never used it. So never needed it. Hurricane Charlie, I needed it. Probably wouldn't have known how to use it during Hurricane Charlie. Ended up staying at a hotel for weeks until the power came back on and whatnot. Only had one dog at the time. Now it's a different story. I've got a wife. I've got my daughter's friend living with us. We're about to open this business. I've got 5 dogs. Need a generator. And so we get back into town from Reno, and I'm like, all right, I'm not feeling well. I couldn't talk this morning. I had no voice at all, but I'm like, I've got to get my voice back because I knew I had to record because I wanted to get these episodes done and uploaded before, if I lose power, because we got to talk about Podcast Imports 3 because it's happening this Saturday. And I hope that the storm's not bad and I can still make it, so there's a chance of that. Right. So my wife, we get up this morning. She goes, I'll do the grocery store. You do anything else we need. I said, okay, fine. Fair enough. So she goes to the grocery store. I go to the gym first. She texts me, no water. I said, I'm on it. I got it. I know where to go. You always go to the dollar store. You need water. So I go to the dollar store because everybody goes to Walmart. Everybody goes to the grocery store. I'm going to the dollar store. And you find like one. And where I live, it's remote in Deltona. So there's a dollar store right next to the gym. I walk in there, the kid behind the counter, and there was a good number of people there. I said, you got water? He goes, yeah, we got water in the back. Plenty of it. I said, great. So you got a cart? There's none outside. He goes, no. So what do you mean, no? There's not that many people here. He goes, we got 6 carts. I said, who thought that was a good idea? Why do you have 6 carts? I said, so what do you suggest? I don't know. I was like, well, you want to come help me? I can't leave the counter. All right, I'll figure it out. So I go into the aisles, and they have all these carts, like utility carts, with stuff on them that they're going to put on the shelves. So I just take the stuff off and I grab a utility cart, load it up with water. Got about 10 cases, no big deal. And I check out, got a couple bags of charcoal. That's another good thing. When you're prepping, you have a grill, you're going to need food, right? So, and plus if you're in a neighborhood, everybody usually comes together and they'll grill out and you share the food, that kind of thing. So I did that. So I got some charcoal. I don't know why I bought charcoal at a dollar store, but Amazon.
Oh, that's the worst charcoal. You spend 30 minutes trying to light it.
And I'm sure it is
Terrible.
So I'll probably go grab some at Home Depot. Anyway, so I go to Home Depot. I was like, I'm going to get lucky and I'm going to get a generator. Home Depot, no generator. The guy laughed at me. But they did have battery generators. They're 26, 1,500. No.
Oh my God. It's just like a battery bank, like a big battery bank.
Yeah. Let me see what it was. It was 1,600 watts. Yeah. 1,600.
Oh, I thought you were saying dollars.
No, 1,600 watts. So a refrigerator usually on average runs about 300 watts. Normal fans in the house, like floor fans, about 50 watts. Okay. The thing with refrigerators that it's important to know is that you don't have to keep them plugged in all the time. So if you keep them plugged in for about 30-ish minutes, it'll cool as long as you don't keep opening and closing it. As long as you're just trying to contain, it'll stay cool for about 24 hours. You can keep it cool. So if you get a good charge on it, and it's full, Just don't open it. Don't touch it. The other part of that is buy a bunch of ice, and you can keep the ice frozen, right? And then take it out, keep it in the cooler, put your meats in the cooler, cook your meats as you go, right? It's a process. Here's another little trick to the trade, which I have not done yet, but I will do it. And this is not my brainchild. I did not know this. I did not think of this idea. This comes from my very good friend, Paramore Brown. Came over today, stopped by the house today. He had done some stuff for me, so I had to give him some cash. It was his daughter's birthday. Happy birthday, young lady. And he says, do you have a vacuum with the tubes? I was like, what are you talking about? A vacuum? I was like, I thought he was talking about, he goes, oh no, do you have a blower? Do you have a blower with some tubes? I said, a blower. I said, you want like a yard blower? I was like, yeah, I actually got 2 of those. He goes, no, blower.
Oh, like a shop vac?
No, he's talking about one of those blowers like you use for a jumpy house.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So you get one of those and you get about 60 feet of tubing, and you can put it in your house and create air
Make your own AC. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. So he's
Yeah,
going
you can probably put like a block of dry ice there in the front too. Air go past
Probably.
it, cool it down.
yeah, just get something to get some airflow, outside of a couple fans in your house, So I bought a couple fans. I got the battery generator. They just sold, Alex was just talking about solar. A lot of these battery generators, you can buy a solar component and, to charge it up. They just sold the last one.
Mm.
And the crazy thing is I didn't get this stuff when I first went to Home Depot. I was like, I'm going to take my chances. I went to Lowe's. I went to Harbor Freight. Nothing. I came home and my wife was like, why didn't you get that? And I was like, yeah, I know. It's like, go back out and get it. It's like, I went back to Home Depot. They had the generators left, but they were out of the solar. So I was like, all right, well, what?
I was going to say, you could fill your truck up. I mean, I don't know. Did your truck have a plug-in, like a house plug-in in there? You can just charge it off that.
You can. Yeah, I can charge it off that. Yeah. But it takes a minute to charge, so those battery generators will take, it'll take about, I think it tells you how much it takes, but it takes a minute. 70 minutes.
Oh, that's not too terrible. You won't use that much gas.
Yeah, that's what it says, 70 minutes to charge. So I had posted, there was a bunch of generators for sale on Facebook Marketplace. And I'm like, and they weren't price gouging. I was, they were all reasonably priced anywhere between $300 to $600. So I'm, hitting that damn, still available button. And nobody responds. So I was like, all right, I guess none of them are available. So I come home and I do this post on my personal Facebook page. And I think I did on my fan page too, of like, looking for a generator. I forgot, should have done it earlier. Dummy me, kind of a post. And I was fishing, obviously. And so just immediately right afterwards, I get a message back from this lady who was selling a generator. And it's a Troy built, which, is what it is. $400. I was like, I'll take it. That's not price gouging. So she says, can you be, how soon can you be here? I'm in Orange City, which is right next to us. So I put in her address. It's 12 minutes. I'll be there in 12 minutes. She's like, all right. She's like, cash, please. I said, not a problem. And so I drive over there. She's there, and her and her mother, who's older, I got asked the question. I'm like, a major storm is about to hit us. Why are you selling your generator? It doesn't make any sense. And she had a great answer because her mother is elderly. She can't pull the generator. So she bought one that's a push start.
Oh yeah. Those are nice.
Makes sense.
Those are great.
I was like, all right. I said, well, do you mind if we start this baby up? She's like, yeah, sure. So, put the choke over, turn the gas line on, flip the switch to on, pulled that baby. It started right up. I'm like, hell yeah. Rock and roll. Now, I have not put anything into the outlets yet, but I'm just assuming it's going to be fine.
It just blows up.
Yeah. So I stopped by
everything.
Stopped by the gas station, filled it up, went and bought a gas can. For some reason, I bought a 2-gallon gas can. The thing takes about 15 gallons. That was a dumb move. I'm going to go buy a bigger gas can.
I see the 5 gallons here. Let me get is that a half-gallon one? Let me get that half-gallon one over there. That's what I need.
I don't know why I did that. I have I didn't even check the gallon. I just saw it and I was like, I should buy that. No, I filled it up. So now I have 2 gallons. What that is going to do for me, nothing. So yeah. So, we got that. We got water. We got food. We're gonna make some food that, we'll have available when we need to have it available and ready to rock and roll. So.
Sweet. So, do you have, you don't have like a propane tank or anything in your backyard though?
I've got you talking about a large propane tank?
Yeah. For like for a home generator, if you were to get one.
So a home generator, like with alternate power solutions, for a nice Generac home generator like they do, you need at least 250 pounds. I have a 100-pound tank in my yard because I have propane in my house. We use propane like for the stove and whatnot. So I would have to buy a larger tank. Now, when you start to get into the larger, now I could line them up. I could do 300. Now, 250 pounds, I believe I'm saying that right? Pounds, right? It's pounds of propane.
Yeah.
Yeah. That will get you, depending on what you're using, only about 3 days.
Ooh.
Right. 500 pounds, like we had up at the cabin in Mineral Bluff, we had 500-pound tank. It was buried. That'd get you a week, if not more.
Oh, wow.
Depending on what you're doing. So I am looking into a home generator. I've been talking with Douglas and Alternate Power Solutions. I don't think they do a lot of Florida. I'm sure we can figure something out. At least he can steer me in the right direction. But I'm definitely going to, by next hurricane season, have a home generator for this house.
Sweet. Yeah, my grandparents, they live in Kentucky, and they had a bad snowstorm, and they were out of power for like 2 weeks. My grandpa said, "Oh, hell no, we're never doing this again." He bought I think he put a propane tank in the ground, big one, had a regular gas line hooked up, and got a Generac. So he has 2 ways to fuel it. If something happens with the gas line coming from the city, he's got the propane tank. But I mean, it don't help him now. He's dead. But at the time, he was like, "I'm never going 2 weeks again without power in the middle of the winter."
But damn it, before he died, he sure put that propane. That's the other thing, is I can't have a 500-pound propane tank in my yard. That just, sorry guys, it's just not my style. So and they'll charge you about $600 to bury it. And that's,
Oh, really? That's not too bad.
It's, well, see,
if you think about the excavator, the mini X, you got to rent. I mean, that's going to cost you probably $400 for the day anyway.
Here's my new expense, right? And I'm going broke, right? By the way, please somebody subscribe to this podcast so I can do these things. All right. So I need to put a mini split AC up in the studio because I have when we enclose this for the studio, there's no way for heat to escape. So I'm hot, like I'm sweating right now, like on this chair. I sweat every time I do the show. So the best thing to do is to put the split mini AC in. That's a cost, right? Not cheap. And by the way, Lowe's now sells Mr. Cool split ACs, and they already come charged, which is
that's nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, right? So that's an expense. A home generator, you have to buy the generator. You got to get the propane. You got to get buried. You got all these different things.
Got to get the electrician to put a plug in there or wire it in.
I got the electrician part covered.
So, yeah, Jeremiah. Yeah, he got you.
Yeah, Jeremiah can do it, but it's not I mean, it's a thing. I watched the guys. Jeremiah didn't do the one up at the cabin. That company I was endorsing at the radio station, was it Reliable?
Oh, yeah, Reliable. Yeah.
Yeah, they came up and did it, and that was a thing. Oh my God. That is not a plug and play type of deal. That is a thing to put that.
Well, it's probably a little more complicated up there in the mountains, I would think, versus just like a flat yard. You just pull up next to it, dig a hole, kind of transport it back there.
I had that cabin rigged though, because not only did I have the home generator attached to the buried propane tank, I had my grill attached to it. I had them run 2 pipes. I had one pipe going into the home generator, but I had another one run up to the second floor to the grill. So you'd never lose propane. You never run out of propane.
Oh, that's smart. Good idea.
For the guests, even though for some reason a lot of guests didn't know how to use a propane grill. I just never understood that. Never. It's just like there's one guy that one guy put charcoal in it and started I just never quite understood that.
There's like 3 steps to get it started. Propane on, turn your gas on, hit the igniter. There you go. You have propane grill.
Yeah, it Didn't make much sense. Not at all. Well, all right. Anyway, Podcast and Pours 3 is this Saturday. All right. Distinct Grace is going to headline. Brandon is going to be doing his song. Let's do your song here, buddy. That's not it. Where is it? There it is.
Bradley's in a Cadillac, smoking weed and doing crack. Found a bitch and bro.
All right. Now, have you been practicing this?
Oh yeah, I look over the lyrics and then I kind of say it both ways. And then I think I'm going up to Chuck's house. I don't know if are you going to on Friday? I think we're gonna practice up there, is what he said. And then we got to practice Saturday morning too.
All right. So you haven't practiced. You're going to practice, right? Are you talking about the other one? Talking about this one?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I think that one's the way to go. I think you know.
Yeah, I don't know what Chuck's plan is. He's telling me different things about how we're gonna do it. So I guess whenever I get up there and sit down with him, we'll figure it out. I mean, it's one thing me just sitting here just going over it and reading the lyrics and make sure it's all good. But I don't, Chuck probably got a different plan for that.
All right. Well, we got that. Tickets available. TheBaileyShow.com under the Podcast and Pours section. Just go to Podcast and Pours 3. And it's right there ready to rock and roll. But the day has come, my friends. It is this Saturday. We'll do a live podcast. If you want to be on, you can shoot me a message. I did have a couple people. Actually, somebody emailed me. God, I don't know where they emailed me, though. Got so many damn emails. This is the worst I've ever been with these emails. It's so bad. So bad. But somebody emailed me. Somebody emailed me about being in the acoustic contest. A couple people did. But if I want
the karaoke?
Yeah, the acoustic karaoke contest. But it was funny because the email that they sent, I don't know where they sent it. I can't find. I got like 12 emails, 12 different email thingies. It was a young lady, and she says, "I'll do it. I'm not going to be very good, but I'll do it." I was like, "You're in." It's like, no problem. So I sent it over to Tim from Distinct Grace. I'm like, "She's in. You got somebody." So if anybody's interested, there's $1,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs. So I mean, that's pretty cool to get up there. If you sing in the shower or you like to sing when you're drunk, this is the time to do it, right? And walk away with some cash. It'll be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone. I've been away way too long, right? I haven't seen you guys. So all you two peers, I saw in the chat that Andrew Sparks isn't coming. I hope that's not true.
Yeah, no, he had texted me a couple months ago. He said something. We were supposed to go to a Braves, or he asked if I could go to a Braves game, and I couldn't make it then. I was like, he's like, "Oh, I was just trying to hang out because I'm not gonna be able to make it a podcast and Pours 3." Can't remember what he said. I'll have to look up and see what he said. He had something with his kids or something, I think maybe.
He's got to bring his kids or so we can't do like we can't do it without him. Like we need him. There's certain people that need to be there, like the people that are really active on our social media. Tara, Vanessa, Chris and Chris, Michael Harris, whoever Michael Harris, reveal yourself, Michael Harris. I don't know if you're going to be able to do it because that would mean that you'd have to travel, and I would hate to have to see you travel. There's just certain people that post a lot, like Andrew Sparks posts all the time, right? That people want to meet, I mean, there's a lot of people on our social media that are just observing. They don't say anything, but they see these people posting like, who is this? And you come out and you meet them and they're phenomenal people. So Josh, and his wife, Sheila, they're coming out. I know that for a fact. They were like one of the first to book it and get ready to rock and roll. So I know Jeremiah F. and Sample's coming out. Zoe's coming out. I heard that Manny wants to come out and bring like an entourage of 30 people. Yeah. I don't know what the whole story is behind that, but so be it. Rock and roll. Let's do it. I don't know all the sponsors, but I hope all the sponsors are coming out and have a good time with us at Podcast and Pours 3. It's at Tannery Row in Beaufort, Georgia. It was the location of Podcast and Pours 2 Halliversary. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And we want you to get your tickets. Distinct Grace is going to be on stage for like 2 hours. We're just going to party for 2 hours, 2+ hours. And if you want to get there early, you can do that while we do our podcast. And, it was a lot of fun last time. And it'll be a lot of fun again. Yeah, so there's I guess rooms at the Beaufort Travel Lodge. I don't know. Chuck's not on this episode, and he's never sent me. For some reason, we've been talking about this for like 3 months, and I've asked him a million times to send me the information. The guy doesn't follow through. I don't understand it. So reach out to Chuck.
Andrew Smart, it's his son's first birthday. So maybe if you get a cake for his son, and we'll just hold him up like Mufasa or Simba, we'll hold him up like that and just have him eat the cake up there on stage. Maybe he'll come then.
Hold on for a second. That is ridiculous. That is
calling him.
Yeah, that's
Let's go.
That's
Tell him we'll get him a cake. We'll get him presents.
Yeah, hold on.
We'll play his favorite song. He's one. I don't know if he has a favorite song. That'd be a great first birthday party, though. You imagine all the people just sitting there and your first birthday, you're eating a cake on stage. Stink Grace behind you, rocking out.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, man, you're on the episode. How are you?
Not bad.
Brandon's here, too.
Yeah.
Hey, well, what's the deal? Why are you not coming to Podcast and Pours 3?
It's my son's birthday.
Yeah, but it's your son's first birthday. That doesn't count.
I told him, look, what if we get him a cake and he can be up on stage and we celebrate? We'll sing a happy birthday up there, have his own cake in front of everybody.
No, it's not going to cut it.
With who? You or your wife?
Dang, I'm on the phone.
Huh?
Sorry. I was answering my daughter. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So your kids won. Look, here's the thing, man. Just let me tell you something. When your kids won, they don't know what's going on. You could have their birthday the day before. It's like when parents take their kids to theme parks when the kids won. Kid doesn't know it. And let's be honest, the only reason they do that is because they get free airline tickets and they get into the parks free for the kid. And they get the pictures to brag about later in life. Literally, I'm not saying have your kid's birthday at Podcast and Pours 3. Brandon's saying that. And
yeah, I suggested it.
And you can. I would make it happen if you want. I mean, I'd buy the cake. I'd buy flyer or balloons and all kinds of stuff if you want to do that. But what I'm saying is you can have the kid's birthday a day before or that afternoon. The kid's not having a birthday Saturday night. That's too late. The kid shouldn't be up. You're a bad parent if you're doing that, Sparks. Have the kid's birthday at like 9 a.m. It's done by 11. Everybody's out of the house. And then the parents can go and play at night. I mean, I don't think you thought this one through, and we're in crunch time now. And I can't do Podcast and Pours 3 without you.
Yeah, the break down pretty bad.
No, well, I didn't hear a damn thing I just said. The phone issues.
Most of what you're saying, but you just ended up roboting it a little bit.
All right. Well, look, if you can't hear me, then we'll see you at Podcast and Pours 3. Did you hear that?
I heard that.
Okay, excellent. That was the whole point of my run. Okay, we'll see you there on Saturday, Sparks.
All right.
All right, bye-bye. We'll see you. I don't know why the roadcaster does that. It screws up. It cuts in and out. Somebody else said that the other day, too.
I think you abuse that damn board because, like, every time I call someone, it's fine. Sounds clear. No problem.
I don't do anything to it. It just sits here. I mean, we record. I don't beat it up or anything. It just sits here.
Yeah, but you're always having problems with it. Maybe you're using it, too. Are you touching it a lot? You need to stop touching it as much.
Yeah,
maybe you're looking over there touching it.
I'm not touching it. I swear to God, I'm not. I won't even look at it. You know, I'm going a different brand. I'm getting something else. Get rid of this damn thing. It's bothering me. Anyway, so Podcast and Pours 3. We're very excited. And I'll have some new merch, some new T-shirts that I'll be giving out. So Ryan from Creed Graphics is going to meet me up there because literally they're going to like hot off the press. They're hot off, and they're really cool design. Really, really cool design. So I'm going to have a select few that I will give out. And we'll do that. I don't know how we'll do that, but we'll do that. And then because I got to save some for a Podcast and Pours 4, which is going to be in December. So that's Saturday, December 14th with Saliva, Click, Click, Boom. And Distinct Grace will be performing there too. Acoustic sets, which is really, really cool at Elixir, downtown Orlando. So hope to see you guys there, in-state, out-of-state. Hotels available thanks to the Hilton. That link is up on Podcast and Pours for the section off thebaileyshow.com. So if you want to book a room, again, the tickets for that are a tier, like tier one sold out. Then tier 2, I think, is just about, if not already sold out. So I think they were going like $15 tickets and then $20 tickets and then 25, so on and so forth. So you might be at $25 right now, which is still extremely inexpensive for the night. There are VIP tables available, but you have to have a group of 4 in order to get the table. So you can't just buy. That's the way that they wanted to set it up. It's had nothing to do with it. My wife hates the idea, but that's the way they want to set it up. So there wasn't like one person with 3 strangers and vice versa. So you have to have a table of 4 people. So if you are 2, find another 2-peer that wants to go in. And the VIP setup is really cool. It's right next to the stage, and you get a bottle of liquor that comes with it, I believe. You know, yeah. So it's really, really cool. Again, all that information on thebaileyshow.com. All right, Brandon, we got to do you a one question, do we not?
One question.
Yeah, one question.
One question with Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon!
All right, dude, what's your one question?
All right, so I got a friend, not like a super close friend, but she just started OnlyFans, and it doesn't seem to be going the greatest. You know, I mean, she's not like these top models, and she's getting like millions of dollars. So I was like, man, what if she fails, and then basically just everybody from town just got her nudes for like $5? So I started thinking that's got to be a pretty bad feeling to fail at OnlyFans. What do you think the worst thing to fail at for a person is? Like, is it like a doctor not knowing how to, I don't know, iodine somebody, or not knowing how to swap a brain right?
God, that's a good question. I don't think you can answer it because I think it's a case by case. Like it's a two-part question. Like generally, what is the worst thing a person could do at at failing, or what to me is the worst thing I could do at failing?
Yeah, like
I can tell you my answer for me personally, but I can't answer. I mean, I'd have to think about it. I don't know what it would be generally.
I mean, you get what I'm saying though? Like an
Oh, yeah.
OnlyFans, a girl failing at OnlyFans. I mean, that's pretty bad. Like a lot of people like to see naked women, and she's a good looking girl, but it's kind of like, damn, you failed at that? Like that's a rough one. Because then
Right.
now everybody knows. It's like you didn't get any money off of it. You might have got a couple $1,000, but everyone in the town's seen you.
I totally understand what you're saying. It's like a cop. You see a cop not being able to arrest somebody, or
Yeah.
the Secret Service when the Trump's last assassination attempt, where she couldn't put her gun back in her holster.
Yeah, that's a pretty bad. I mean, that's your one job.
Right. That's what it boils down to. You have one job. So what's your one job? And when you fail at that one job, and you might start to second guess. The kicker missed the field goal. You get paid millions of dollars to kick field goals. How do you miss the field goal? That was your one job. How did you fail at that? Me personally, I've failed before. I know what failure is like. It's a tough pill to swallow for me. Really, really is. My first marriage, I mean, that was probably the first time that I experienced true failure, like where it hit me. It was because I'd always been in my brain, you get married, you stay with that person, you work it out, so on and so forth. But I had to tell myself to not forget what I believe in. And that is everything happens for a reason. That roller coaster of life, there's the big dip, but eventually it'll go back up. There's a reason for it. You just have to wait. Organically, the universe will pay it off. It did when I found Rachel and the kids, right? So everything happens for a reason. California, I failed. I could sit here and argue it's not my fault and legitimately argue that without a doubt. I can legit and be right about that. But that's not the way that I accepted that. I failed. I failed my wife. I failed my family. I failed Nikki. I failed Nelson. I failed people in management, upper management that were counting on me. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, but there are variables. This is a very gray failure, but as a leader, it's just a lot easier to say it was my fault because it was, I mean, it was like, I convinced, I was thinking about this the other day, actually. Here's the reason. Somebody asked me what happened like what happened to Nikki and what happened to Nelson. I was like, I don't know. I was like, the day that we all got fired, they disappeared, and neither one of them had the balls to tell me why they were pissed off at me. which, it is what it is. You move on with your life and that kind of thing. And so, but I told both of them that, I said, I'm sorry, this is on me. I brought you guys out here. This is just because that guy's the way he is. And the market manager, who, by the way, quote unquote, resigned this past week, which nobody believes, and it just goes to show, there's nobody left at that radio station because they all left because they couldn't work under the dictatorship. There's not one salesperson in there, and they're getting ready to have more firings because of what that company's going through. How the guy that's, in charge, my quote unquote friend, my ex-friend, how he's still there, I have no idea. The guy's a bad person. Like, he's a bad person. Ask his ex-girlfriend. She'll tell you how great of a human being he is. If she could breathe, that's the problem. And so, that to me was a failure. I moved my entire family. I moved 2 people's lives, one across country. Nikki had a daughter, they went for the job. The job was there, but I had to lead the ship. Nelson came over, left his kids behind for it, and none of it worked out. And trust me, it didn't work out the way I wanted it to work out. Nobody was doing the things that I thought they were going to do or want to do. They didn't. Everybody it was a mess, Now that's on me because it shows names under me. That's failure. It sucks, right? It sucks. But again, I had to tell myself everything happens for a reason. Even just spending $30,000 to move back across country, wanting to come back to Florida in the next, I think even this week, I'm going to talk about it, the super secret special project. There's no way that I would have done this if we were still out there. No way.
Yeah.
So
yeah, well,
that's the thing. I remember an episode. God, I wish I knew who I was talking to about this, because this is deja vu of a conversation.
I think it was someone had emailed you, right? And they are asking questions, and they asked what you're most afraid of. Is that what you're talking about? And you said failure, and then we kind of talked about it.
No, I was talking to someone about this, and I forget who I was talking to. It's the same conversation. So weird, because I'm going to give the same story or same example. There was an episode of Hell's Kitchen years ago with Gordon Ramsay, and he was on the plane and they were going to do something. And he talked about failure, and I'd never seen. I mean, this was maybe 15 years ago or something. I don't think I'd ever seen somebody of that much success and that much power admit defeat. And he says, yeah, he goes, there's no way I'd be who I am today without all the failures that I've had. And he goes, I've had way more failures than I've had successes. He goes, that's, I just to hear that was like, really? Because I'd always thought that you never fail. You can't fail. You have to be perfect. And then when you fail, oh my God, it's the end of the world. But that taught me that all these people that are successful failed at first. Michael Jordan was kicked off his freshman basketball team, I believe.
Yeah.
Of course, his book is, I've missed more shots than I've made. You look at all these bands that are turned down, label after label after label after label. And then finally one label picks them up and they have huge success. The Killers, for example, they were turned down. And it weren't for Matt Pinfield, who was working at Columbia at the time. Who knows what would have happened? It's that kind of thing. So you just have to kind of keep grinding. This podcast, I look at whenever I lose a subscriber or 10 or whatever the case may be, because it fluctuates, I start to question what we're doing. I'm like, what am I not doing right? What am I not doing? And I don't want to look at what other people are doing, because I don't want to do what they're doing. And I'm like, this is what I would do on the radio. We've had success with this on the radio. Why is this not working in the podcast form? It is working because this is working, but this isn't working. I need this. Why aren't I not getting more sponsors? So if it comes to a point in time where I say, hey, I just got to pull the plug, there's no way I can continue to do this podcast in the form that it's in, because I don't have enough subscribers or I don't have enough sponsors. You guys said you're going to support me. Where are you at? I got to go. I got to do something different.
Yeah.
That'd be failure,
Yeah. I mean, I always, I do a lot of social media, and people will hit me up and they'll just ask, be like, yo, how do you do it? How do you get started and stuff like that? I was like, well, you can't let a bad post keep you from making a good one, is what I usually always tell people. I was like, you might post one up, you get 20 views. If you want to stop right there and just be like, all right, well, I got 20 views, I failed. But you got to keep making it. You got to keep doing it over and over. then eventually, you'll find it. Yeah, it's good to go.
Yeah.
So that's why I tell people, don't let the bad ones keep you from making the good ones and whatever you do.
Oh yeah, you should never listen to the bad ones. I mean, the bad. So I'll be nice, and I'll just say someone that we all know had made a post the other week, and it was directed at me.
Oh yeah.
And you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I messaged her.
Okay. And I don't follow this person anymore, and so I don't know. But I was, of course, told. But my family does. And my daughter was upset about it. And she was like, why would this person do that after everything we've done, blah, blah, blah. What? I don't understand. Why would she say this? And like, I literally had to call her, and I had to
really?
and explain to her why someone of that type would do something.
Oh,
like,
you called Rachel. I mean, you called Ariel.
I called Ariel. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh, no, I have no desire to
yeah.
call that person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to call Ariel. And I said, you have to understand, there are very angry, bitter, jealous people in this world. They can't move on with their life. They need drama. This person loves drama. It doesn't faze me at all. Like not even now knowing. Like I would have never known unless somebody told me. I thought it was funny. I thought that, even after all these months, I'm still living rent free, and like that kind of stuff makes me laugh, and it also makes me sad, very sad that person is still in that bubble and can't move on.
Well, it just took me back because that person's not normally like that. I wouldn't say. I mean, I've seen tendencies like that before, but but they know how it works, like what we do and how we portray stuff on the show and whatnot. So I was just kind of shocked. So I reached out and just asked, and was like, "Yo, you good? You know what we do here." So I don't know. It was just kind of weird that post was made in general. I was just like, because as soon as they posted it, I knew. I was like, "Oh, I know what they're talking about." But it was just kind of like, I would post that. It's like, I get where you're coming from and whatnot, but it's like probably should have just left it alone.
The funniest part about that, it's coming from a person that on the parent scale, maybe pushing a 5, possibly. I mean, come on, like maybe, don't throw stones at glass houses kind of thing. It's like, you're right. It's not needed, but you can see that the rent-free thing is there. And that's sad, but that's funny. You reached out. That was nice.
Yeah, no, I just hit you up like, who are you talking about? And then I was like, kind of wishy-washy. And I was like, I don't know. And it was just, it didn't really go anywhere with the conversation.
No, but it's the crew, it's the anti-Bailey crew. It's the haha. It's the, but it's funny for people that I've paid their bills for a long time and given opportunities to. I'm the worst person in the world, without any explanation or any, pick up the phone. Like I had no idea that I was surrounded by such small people. I just, and again, that's on me.
It really took me back too, because that person typically is, doesn't want. They say they don't want the drama. They if someone they write people off in their life, but they're still listening, and they felt obligated to say that. I wouldn't have said it, even if I was pissed off of somebody. I wouldn't have said it, because then that's bringing attention to it and be like, oh, well, you're still listening and watching. So,
by the way,
are you really mad? Or are you just trying to watch me fall? Or like, I just don't know what they were trying to gain out of it, is what I'm saying. I think it was just kind of an inside joke with other people that if you knew whoever was on on the friends list.
It was an inside joke with 2 other people, literally 3 other people. Then that was it. Way to go after that on. So it was for those that are wondering what we're talking about. It was a comment because of the clip from Honey, I Raised the Kids podcast from last week, when Rach and I were talking about going to the Alabama game and our daughter being underage and doing shotguns beers, and stuff like that, because we know that no one, this crew of people, they've never done anything. They never drank underage. They've never smoked marijuana illegally. They've never had things shipped to them that they shouldn't have shipped to them. We know that they're fucking straight arrow Gennaro. Like this is, they're just the best citizens ever. They've never done anything wrong. And on top of things, this is an entertainment podcast. That could have been an entire lie. It could have been an embellished story. You have no idea. And you know the drill. You know how this works.
I mean, to me, it's like, it's not like you had a bunch of 16-year-old girls at your house and you're just letting them drink. I mean, they're in college. She's what, 19, 20? What do college kids do? Every college kid's going to do it. I mean, it's been like that ever since college was invented, I think. Like, college kids are going to drink. That when I think of college, I think of a little bit of school, parties, fraternities, a lot of drinking.
But you have to understand the person that made the comment never went to college, so they probably don't understand the lifestyle.
I mean, they still understand how it works, though.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. I mean, I that's what I would think. I would think that they didn't understand it. Now, like one of the person, some of the people that commented, they were in college. So, that I didn't quite understand, but, I don't know. It is what it is. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll leave it alone.
I thought it looked like you upset you a little bit. I thought it was funny.
What?
The comment, it looked like it made you a little upset.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, come on now. Let's just leave it be. Let it die where it was,
Brandon,
I'm still in the middle of all this. So I'm like,
you're not in the middle of anything. I don't even know what it is. Like I'm not in this. I have nothing to do with any of this. I'm
not saying it's like an active thing going on, but I'm friends with people that you're no longer friends with still. And it's just kind of, I try to stay out of it, but when I see something like that, I'm like, oh, come on now. Like, but that's do it.
But that's not
just going to be brought to it.
That's not by my design though.
I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you. I'm just saying in general.
I don't have the problem. I'm not saying these things. I do not have the problem.
Well, this is not like an active thing going back and forth. It's just, every time you'll see a slight jab by someone else on the internet, I'm just like,
not by me.
Can we just drop it?
Not by me. I'm not slight jabbing. Have I slight jabbed?
No, not on social media.
Look at that. See?
I mean, on the podcast, maybe a little bit, but.
Oh, yeah, but it's not, I don't know what I say sometimes. It just comes out. It's like that. All right. So did I answer your question about, you said the one thing?
Yeah, I got real serious. I was hoping you were going to say something like a monkey not being able to eat a banana. That's a very sad failure.
Oh, that's a good one. Or a chicken not being able to lay an egg.
Yeah, that's very sad. That's your whole thing.
Or a lion not knowing how to king.
That too. Yeah.
Yeah.
These are sad things.
Or how about an alligator not knowing how to roll?
Yeah. He just flips over. He just flips instead of rolls. Like, oh, that dude ain't catching nothing. He's going to die.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Those are good things for, things that that's like every kid, like children's book story, right? Is like, oh, there's the alligator that doesn't know how to roll. And the rest of the alligators didn't want to roll with him because he didn't know how to roll. So this little alligator wandered off by himself. That's like a children's book. Yeah. Always some deformed animal that, like the black duck, the ugly duckling. This duck, they didn't like him because he was ugly and he had to that kind of thing. So I know what you were saying. It's the one thing. It's like when you go into customer service, say, for example, if you're in customer service and you suck at it, and that happens a lot. I was talking to my mom about that, and she was very excited. My mother, she goes, I'm very excited, Chase. I'm very excited. For the first time, I did something. And my mother, just let me explain to you about my mom. My mother, as soon as she gets on the phone, she knows what she's going to say. So everything that you say to her before is null and void. Like,
okay, great. This is what I got to say.
No, she doesn't even do that, Brandon. It's, hey, mom, and she does like all the pleasantry. How was your trip? And this and this. And then just out of nowhere, she busts out with, I did the Amazon thing for the first time. Because that's all she wanted to tell me. I said, oh, great. What did you get? And I've been trying to tell her to get Amazon stuff. And I get on Amazon. And she goes, the phone. So she had this old school rotary phone. It wasn't original. I think it was a replica when she got it in like the 80s or something, but it was in her house and she loved it. She gives it to me. I put it somewhere. I don't know where I put it. It's lost. It gets lost. I have no idea where it's at. So my mom, to her credit, she wasn't too pissed off, but she was upset and rightfully so. I don't know where this phone is. It got lost in the move. I know it has to be somewhere, but we just don't know where it's at. So she's been trying to find this phone. So she goes, I found it on the Amazon. I found it on the Amazon. And Jace, let me tell you, the original phone cord that I had was this fabric that just fell apart. This one's so much better. It's a different material. I've got the phone and I only paid X amount of dollars for it. I said, Mom, are you sure you were on Amazon? Because Amazon doesn't sell old stuff. And she goes,
Yeah.
No, maybe I was on the eBay. So how do you not know the difference? And she goes, I don't know. I just put a bid in and I won. And I was like, you were on eBay. You bid for the phone, whatever. She goes, whatever. Because it was weird. It came by normal mail, not the special truck mail. You know, because Amazon, when you send me stuff, it comes in that blue truck. This one just came to the regular truck. I said, okay. Okay, you got it there. But anyway, we had the conversation. You know, we were talking about shopping. And she goes, because I was walking around Home Depot and I was like, this is crazy. I was like, it's like the mall at Christmas, which I love all the people at the mall. In California, it was great. The mall by our house, Galleria. Oh my God, all the time. It felt like a mall from the 80s. There's always people there. It was great. And so she was like, yeah, now everybody's online. And I'm like, and then I as she was doing that, I'm talking to this customer. So it was the guy at the dollar store, actually. He was just stupid. And I said, this is why everything's online now, is because nobody wants these jobs. That's
You
our
told him that?
No, I'm telling my mom that.
Oh, okay.
I was like, this is why everybody, shops online, is because they don't want to deal with this. You know what I mean? You just don't want to deal with that. It's crazy when you experience good customer service, like it's a big deal. I went to Home Depot today and this kid was phenomenal. This kid was phenomenal at Home Depot. Great. And everybody at the Home Depot in Orange City is great. That's one of the best Home Depots I've ever been to as far as customer service. But it's far and few between, right? I go to the Harbor Freights. The guy wasn't the best. Just buy it online if you can. You know what I mean? So anyway, back to your point is you get that job. That's your job. You can't have a bad day. That's you can't. How are you in customer service and failing at customer service?
I don't know. See, but I think it's a little different to the OnlyFans thing, because you got to deal with people and stuff like that. But if you're a beautiful girl and you got all the things in the right places that people want to see, I don't know how you can fail at that.
Is
now,
she
customer
totally
service,
naked?
huh?
Is she totally naked?
Yeah, yeah.
Have you subscribed?
No, no.
Well, how have you seen it?
She posts like the little snippets and whatnot on her Instagram, and then she'll just put the blurs over them. But she's not wearing any clothes, so I'm guessing she's naked. But a customer service person might not be good at talking to people or problem solving. But being a naked hot girl, I don't know how you can mess that up.
How do you know she's failing?
I mean, I don't know if she's failing or not. I just know she started. I just started thinking, I was like, what if this doesn't work out? Because I mean, she's got a couple hundred followers, but it's not anything that I don't know. I just came up with the idea. I'm like, maybe what if she doesn't do good with this? Like now the whole town, like 100 people in our town, is just gonna see it, and she's gonna make like $500, and then no one else subscribes.
Does she have a boyfriend?
I think, yeah.
What about her parents?
I think her mom died and her dad left her for another woman.
Oh, okay. So she doesn't have anybody to be embarrassed for.
Yeah, she's a little broken.
She's a little broken. Yeah. You want to get her on the show?
No.
Help her out?
No. Last time I had a girl, you talked to a girl I got on, it did not go good. Why do I have to tell you this every time? That's why I don't bring on girls that I know, because last time you basically called them a whore, and then I didn't get to go on that beach trip, and I don't think I've talked to her since.
Okay. I promise. I'm put my hand up, my right hand. Okay. I swear to God, I will not do anything to embarrass you. I'm going to give me another chance. Let me, to be honest with you, I don't remember that whole thing. I remember the thing. I just don't remember the whole thing. But if you say so, I believe you. But I'm asking you, please, Brandon Thrasher, give me another chance to talk to one of your friends that's a girl. I won't embarrass you. Everything will go well. I really, truly, honestly want to help get her more people to see her naked.
Okay. All right. I'll message her after this, see if she's down for it.
All right. Do you trust me?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not super close with her anyway. So, and there's no beach trip involved. So I can't lose anything, I guess.
So this will be a good way for me to get back into your good graces. This will be a good, like, see if I'm playing with you or not type of thing.
Yeah. We'll see.
Okay. So you hold your judgment until after the conversation. But for right now, thank you for giving me that opportunity. When we get her on afterwards, I'm going to ask you, how did I do? And then maybe we can move on to other friends down the road, like Woodshed Ted.
Okay. We'll see. Yeah. We'll start with this girl.
Is Woodshed Ted coming to Podcast and Pours 3?
I don't know, dude. He's been some blue hair girl been sleeping in there the past couple days with him. I don't know if she's moved in or what.
So you got blue hair girl and Woodshed Ted in the backyard.
Dude, she's been wearing the same clothes for the past 2 days. I don't know if she turned 21 on Friday or 21 on Saturday. She's been wearing the sash around.
Oh my God.
And she left her pants in the living room up here. I got up the next morning, there's Doc Martens and a pair of pants, and I'm like looking at them like, these are women's. So that means someone took their pants and shoes off, and there's someone around the property with no pants on is what I'm thinking. And sure enough, she didn't have no pants on.
That's hilarious, dude. All right. Give us a like, share, follow on social media. Thanks for putting up with my voice. I know it sucks listening to somebody with a sketchy voice. I think it actually got better throughout the show, to be honest with you. I don't know.
There it goes.
Yeah, there it goes. Give us a like, share, follow on all social media. Please help us out. Help our brother out. Don't let us fail, man. allinthebaileyshow.com. YouTube channel's freaking doing really well. So thanks for that. I know I haven't gotten around a newsletter yet. Once I tell you guys everything that I've been going through this past, like 2 months, this will make more sense. All right. Why maybe I haven't given 110% like I normally do. But once you understand, and I've already posted things. So if you follow me on social media, you've already started to see things, but I'll explain it all this week because I'm like I said before, I'm not trying to jerk you guys around. I'm waiting for literally one thing to get done, just one thing. And once that is done, then I can tell you guys, and it would be stupid and pointless for me not to wait for this one thing. So I hope that makes sense. I don't know what I'm going to do this week with some of the episodes, but either way, like, I don't know if I think I might release this one on Wednesday because I think Alex Clark stuff is good, but the storm would be here now. So it'd be kind of weird, but still, I think that's important to do. Anyway, so please subscribe either way to the podcast, thebaileyshow.com. That's what makes this run, is the subscriptions for the subscription episodes. So you're not only getting future subscription episodes, but there's hundreds and hundreds of past subscription episodes. So there's tons of content, and you could go into episode 104 and still have a good time. I don't even know what it's about, but there's tons of interviews, tons of great conversations. So please, give us $4.99 a month and listen. I am planning on some pretty cool things as we go into the holidays. So that'll be just for subscribers. I just have to get through this next couple weeks, especially Podcast and Pours 3, this Saturday, and then the super secret special surprise, which is a project which is coming up just weeks afterwards. So I think once I get into November, I can goose fraba and take a breath. All right, Brandon, you got anything before we get out?
Oh, we're going on a cool new bit idea. It's going to be motherfucking awesome if we can pull it off. So stay tuned. Be watching the socials.
We'll do it next episode. I know we're supposed to do it here, but we talked too much about the storm. So we'll talk about the great Brandon adventure. If he can.
Yeah.
So God help us. All right, look, again, thanks for the support. Have yourself a great, safe rest of your day. Stay safe if you're in the way of the storm, right? We'll talk soon. All right, Emma.
Thanks for listening. Till next time, check out thebaileyshow.com. Make sure you like, share, follow on all socials. I leave you with these parting words.
Never got a pink slip either. You know what I would get? A guy would come around to my desk and say, "Get the fuck out of here!" What do we want to talk about?
Subscribe at thebaileyshow.com. Yeah, baby.